welcome back to the pre-snap read. You already know what it is, man. We here with the one, the only, the true Coach K. You know stats about everything. Hey, your mama, man. What's up, Coach K? How you doing?
Man, everything's good, bro. What's going on with you?
Man, not much, man. We got some big news out of HBCU land, man. Go
Yes,
ahead, Coach
sir.
K. Tell the people what you been telling them all season. What
Yes,
you been
sir.
telling them,
So we,
man?
we talked about it early in the season, man, before we even got started. And here we are, man, with the number 25 selection in the WNBA draft. Miss Amisha Williams Holiday out of Jackson State University headed to the Indiana Fever. Big time news, man. I mean, it's been 20 years since HBCUs have had someone drafted into the WNBA. So great news there for Jackson State. That's really great news for all HBCUs. It really opens up the door. And just excited, man. It's been an exciting week knowing that, that occurred and that young lady has that opportunity to go to camp and really prove her spot on that team.
Definitely, and just her being like one of the first players to come to HBCU since 20 years, man. That's a long time. I was I was probably about only nine years old when that happened, and
Right.
yeah, that long for especially for female athletes to come out of HBCU to get drafted in the WNBA. That's amazing. So
Yeah.
that tells you, what they see in her, and also the behind the scenes story that they just put out with her and with coaching about what's going on with Jackson State.
Yes.
You're in, you coached before, so you know of that magnitude of doing those things, making sure that you hold a scholarship for a player, making sure you care for that athlete's baby when they're in practice. So
Absolutely.
tell me the things that because that blew my mind because I never heard one of those things happening. Usually, when a female athlete gets pregnant, usually probably 9 times out of 10 she don't get a scholarship back. 9 out of 10, outside world things she has to pick up, bills,
Right. Right.
responsibility, and other things. So just tell me, as being a former coach, like tell me like how that transpired and how that went down.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, that's always an interesting situation. I mean, a lot of times you'll see those players come off the rosters, for obviously the various reasons that stand. But I mean, looking at this young lady, man, she actually started back in 2017 at Mississippi State and, had that opportunity and, kind of suddenly disappeared, as they say in the media. And obviously for the reasons that we now know. However, she kind of resurfaced. She bounced back and Coach Reed did a good job in being able to find her and identify her and, getting her back into, top shape so she can go out there and compete. And as she did for the last couple of years in the MEAC, I mean, it's been pure dominance, which while to me, it was no question that she would get the nod to get drafted into the WNBA. So I just want to make it very clear. There's only 12 teams in the WNBA and there's only 3 rounds. And so to get drafted 25 is really a big deal. When you look at all of the college women's basketball players coming out every year, we can sit here and name many greats that did not get selected into the draft. And for her to accomplish that feat, man, is big time. And her story, it's not something that you hear every day. And I'm glad that they took the time to kind of reveal where she come from because as we know at HBCUs, people are always coming from different walks of life. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? We all come from whether it be geographically or the things that, occurred throughout the course of our lifetime. But in any regard, despite all, she still overcame and she was able to, get drafted into the WNBA. So very excited for her, man. I really hope that she goes out to camp and really puts on a show so she can solidify herself on that roster. But, I think that it's more to come. And, going back to what you said about saving scholarship spots and things like that with Jackson State, man, they're doing a heck of a job. They've already committed a young lady out of USC that's about 6'5".
Yeah.
So there you go. You had Amisha Williams Holiday, and there's a replacement coming right behind her. Not that anybody left on that roster was any slack either, because the roster is still coming back very heavily loaded. But now they just reloaded in that center spot, so they're doing an excellent job. That they know their roster, they know what works. Obviously, they've had some success and they're just continuing to build that thing. Once you get it rolling, man, once you get a good, a motor going, long as you maintain that thing and keep it service, it's gonna run real good for you. And that's essentially what's happening in that program right now.
Definitely. And just, just looking from outside in, uh the way that she came and, the trials and tribulations that even like all the Jackson State players had, they grew a bond with each other that you can tell that they want each other to succeed.
Right, right.
Like Coach Reed literally created like a pipeline. Little do we know she was creating that pipeline, but now she created a pipeline from HBCU Jackson State to WNBA.
Right.
And once you create that pipeline, there's no cutting it off. There's no, oh, my hands, I can't do nothing. Like it's gonna be there forever.
Absolutely.
Like
Absolutely. And I'm
forever.
confident that in the SWAC, we're going to have players that's going to be able to compete at that level, the SWAC and the MEAC. I think it's going to happen. But, I want to go back to a point that you said, Ryan, that you've never seen a situation quite like that and a player ends back up playing collegiate basketball. Well, look, I'm here to tell you this is not our most fondest memory, but we've seen it before, whether you realize it or not. So
Mm-hmm.
back when we played Bethune-Cookman University, Bethune-Cookman University had a young lady that had a similar situation to that, where she kind of after high school, had a situation, but was able to bounce back, go to school, go to a JUCO up in Georgia, graduated there, and landed back at Bethune-Cookman University. And unfortunately for me and you, that was the young lady that laid the dagger in the final game of the season on us in conference play there at their gymnasium. So,
Yeah.
hey, women, man, there's some incredible beings, to be able to go through that and be able to bounce back and get back and play at such an elite level, says a lot about them. Men, we walk around and we're rah, but these ladies are authentically strong
Definitely.
and tough. So, kudos to them, man, and kudos to Miss Williams and everything she's accomplished thus far.
Definitely. And just, you gonna stay on the Jackson State bandwagon. As far as Coach Reed, like, what is her mindset now, knowing that she went into LSU territory, she went in a hostile environment. The game was literally that close. Like
Mhm.
that close. All they just had to do is advance the ball to half court, set up their offense, spend a little bit of clock on the time, and just hit a free throw, get fouled, hit a couple of free throws. They literally won and won the game. So now you're in Coach Reed mind. You have some schools coming to her. Like, what is your mindset when you're a coach, when you make that magnitude and you can go to a Division I school? But I think right now we can say she's going to stay at Jackson State probably the remainder of the year. Right now we can say that, but we don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that's always tough. That's a tough situation, man. In this profession, in this industries, man, opportunities come from everywhere. And I always say, man, it's a God-fearing man. It's not always on our time, but on His time. And I think with Coach Reed, I want to believe, I'm confident that she's going to be there at Jackson State University. But I mean, she's made a name for herself. One of the biggest things today with this society is creating a brand. And what she's truly done is creating a brand. Going down there, we talk about how heartbreaking of a loss that was down at LSU. But I'm gonna tell you that same loss was going to be a major benchmark in Coach Reed's professional career. And the reason for that is because now Kim Mulkey, the head coach of LSU, is one of the biggest advocates for Coach Reed. She's seen how her team came down and competed, and she wants absolutely nothing but the best for it. And she's went public in saying that she's an elite level coach. So as HBCU, coaches continue to do what they do and do at a great job. I think you're going to continue to see advancement. We oftentimes, you get something great, we want to hold on to Coach Reed. We don't want Coach Reed to never lead us to swag. But the reality of it is, at the end of the day, again, those opportunities, man, they just come when they come. And at the end of the day, they have to make the best decision in the best interest of their families. Now, I will say this: Coach Reed, Jackson through and through. She's a native, so to be able to pull her from there is going to probably be a little bit harder than it would be, most head coaches within the SWAC and MEAC conferences. But it does happen. It does happen. So excited to see where it goes, man. We also got some new blood in these conferences as far as coaches. So, I
Mm-hmm.
just saw Coach Burnett Skeet getting the job down at Texas Southern.
Yep.
She's going to do an excellent job. She's a heck of a recruiter. When she was down at Gulf Coast in Pensacola in Florida, she flat out dominated. As a player at Gulf Coast, she won a national championship. So that's the caliber of coaches that we are getting, into our HBCU schools, man. And it's going to be exciting brand of basketball.
Definitely. And you talking about new coaches? I think the old coach from South Carolina State. I think he went to I'm trying to think what school off the top of my head. I can't remember. I think it was Alabama A&M. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the old South Carolina boys head coaches went to Alabama and A&M. So getting coaches like that, like he's dominant defensive wise and big, tall, lanky dudes that can rebound and that can run up the court. The SWAC is seeing some changes on the basketball side, and it's
For sure.
good, and it's good
Yes,
for the SWAC because we're trying to go to that next level. Like
absolutely.
that's what we're appointed to. That's what we always want to do. That's what the athletes want to do. They always
Yes.
want to compete in the next level. For this, I can't even see it for the transfer portal, for the off season, for the recruits. What coaches have to do now, because now for the women's side, they're competing with Coach Reed.
Right.
They're
Absolutely.
competing against Jackson State. So now they have to recruit against Jackson State.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
how would you sell that for a recruit that may be looking at Jackson State and maybe looking like an IE FAMU or Southern or Grambling or UAPB, that those teams right there? How would you recruit a female athlete that wants to play basketball?
Well, the first thing I'm going to say to that, Ron, is the game has changed. In the last 2 years, the recruiting has changed in basketball like it has never before. And what I mean by that is that, and I would advise this to any recruit, if one of these schools are showing genuine interest and you can see yourself going there and attaining an education from that institution, it's in your best interest to make the commitment and go. Because now we're in a situation, man, as you mentioned, the transfer portal. Currently, the transfer portal has over 1,200 players in it. So you got 1,200 players, and we're talking about seasoned players. We're talking about 19, 20, 21, 22-year-olds that have played the collegiate game, have been through collegiate workouts for at least a minimum of a year, and now they're trying to resurface back into another program, opposed to a student athlete coming out of high school, 17, 18 years old, has never had the opportunity to compete at that level. So definitely for the high school student athlete, I would highly advise, if an HBCU is giving, or any institution for that matter, is giving you strong interest, bringing you on campus, offering you an opportunity at a college education, I would definitely go ahead and check the box, if those things align. It is different, man. And for the other schools, what I've always said about recruiting, Ron, every institution is different. Mississippi Valley State doesn't look like FAMU. FAMU doesn't look like Alcorn. Alcorn doesn't look like Texas Southern. So you have to recruit, you have to find a niche at your institution. Maybe it's your gymnasium facility. Maybe it's your overall campus. Maybe it's your success in your program. You find those different intangibles, and that's what you recruit on. I've always been one of those that I'm never going to really negatively recruit on another program. I'm going to really just enhance on the things that we have and the things that we're doing within our program. And so it's going to be tough when you got a team that has had the success that they have. I think losing one game in conference in over, let's say, 30 something games, it's going to be hard to recruit against that team if that team should want the same student athlete, no doubt. But as with anything, man, you miss every shot that you don't take. And it's for recruit. I would say this is the same for recruiters that are recruiting against the Jackson States of the world, and for the high school athletes. That old saying, the price today or the price yesterday ain't the price today. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It's a different price. When Jackson State went out there and they did this thing for a second consecutive year, making it back to the NCAA tournament, okay, the price rose. Okay, so for other teams to be able to compete against that in recruiting, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
Definitely. And speaking of Jackson State, if you're at Ashley at Jackson State, what is your mindset? What is your goal to try to get Coach Reed to stay? I know you could probably sell the world and the book to her. If like Like, what would you sell to her to make her stay if she has another offer to go to D1?
Gotcha. Well, I mean, look, Ron, I'll tell you from my current role, man. I'm currently serving as an athletic director. My old motto is, man, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. The reality of it is Coach Reed is a very hot name, if not the hottest name in the country right now. And sometimes there's only so much that an institution can do based on, what they have. And so obviously, you want to do everything that you can to show that coach that you have their best interest, you're supporting them. You want to continue to propel them and to excel their program and put the resources and things like that behind them. But the reality of it is, a lot of these major institutions can come out here and put a couple $100,000 across your face, and that's a tough situation to be able to work against. So, if I'm Mr. Ashley, obviously right now, man, it's fundraising crazy. I'm plateauing off of the success that the programs have had over the past couple of years and continuing to fundraise it and letting my supporters know that, hey, ultimately the reason why we're doing this is because of the success of our programs, and we want to maintain our coaches. Because even on the football front, what Deion Sanders is doing, to have gone in there in such a short amount of time and to have the success that they did on the football side, you don't want to lose that. You want to try to sustain that within your institution. And the best way to do that, man, it still remains true today in 2022, is that money talks. So for him right now, the biggest thing is fundraising, putting the resources behind his coaches to show that Jackson State is able to continue to support them, in their efforts to advance as a program.
Definitely, man. I know you wanted to come on here and talk about this fabulous girl that did her job, that did amazing things at Jackson State, and I'm pretty sure she's going to do amazing things with the Indiana Fever. So coming in from Jackson State, you're riding cloud nine basically, because you won the SWAC, you won the regular season SWAC championship. You won the tournament SWAC championship. You go to March Madness again and get to experience it again and have a high level competitive game like that. And now you're in the NBA, you're with the Indiana Fever, and they don't have a so good record. They kind of the bad barrel on the bunch. So how would you step in that locker room? How would you get your mindset knowing that, okay, this team is not so good? How can I turn this around, or where is my place? Do I
Gotcha.
stay as a
Well,
rookie, or do I
mhm.
just come out and let's go, guys? We got to pick this shit up, basically.
So let me preface this with, please understand that the WNBA is a professional basketball league. And with that being said, although they finished second to last in the standings last year, every last lady on that team is a flat out baller.
Mm,
If you make it onto a 12 team roster, you can flat out go. I don't care where you are in the WNBA. And
yeah,
so for the mindset of those rookies coming in, looking at the Indiana Fever, getting 4 picks there in the first round, the mindset coming in is, I have to make the roster. That's the mindset. Right now, there's probably surplus at least 3 players, if not 4. So you got to go in and you got to be a dog. It's not an opportunity to necessarily sit back and play the rookie card, if you will. When you get to camp, it's time to get after it. It's time to solidify that I am who you thought I was, and you want me on the court for this team. And so going in, I'm sure right now her and Coach Reed are putting in work every day. Just ensuring that she's ready to go when the time comes, if she's not already there putting in the work. Because it happens fast, and then you get into the season. So even the cuts or the waivers, if you will, they happen fast. And so she got to go in, man. She got to be a dog. It's no sitting back. It's no being passive. It's no being timid. You got to go to work.
definitely. That's definitely good advice, because some people come in with the wrong mindset, or just they really don't know, and you like you said, you got to come in with that mindset. You got to set it straight. Like, I got to get on this roster, so that's definitely a plus and a plus. Just go in and have that mindset. Coming from Jackson State, they already had that mindset. You might as well just carry it over to the
Right.
NBA and just be more professional with it. But thank you, Coach K, for coming on, man. I always love when you drop little nuggets and
For sure. For
little
sure.
gems, man. Shout out to FAMU. Shout out to everybody in the HBCU land. Shout out to Jackson State. Shout out to Coach Reed. Shout out to Miss Williams. I hope you do amazing in the WNBA, and let's create this pipeline, man. But
Absolutely, man. I mean, excited for this all season recruiting time coming up. First NCAA evaluation period is next weekend. And so, you're going to have teams, coaches all over the country trying to find players. So it's going to be an exciting time to watch, man, as we get ready for this HBCU football season coming up. So, we're pretty excited about that. We've had our conversations, man. We Rattlers all the way. You know how it go. But we're excited for it. Yeah, you already know, nonetheless. But I would definitely be in Miami Gardens in September, that first weekend, watching them mighty Rattlers strike again.
Definitely, man. Make sure y'all get y'all tickets, y'all Airbnbs. Make sure y'all just go ahead and get them now, because boy. Then the crazy thing about that week, Bethune and Miami play Saturday. A lot of people don't know that. Bethune and Miami play Saturday, and we play that Sunday. So it's going to be a whole lot going on in Miami as far as football-wise. And I don't even know, if Miami Dolphins have a preseason on any time of that week. But it's going to be a whole lot of football going on.
Only one team can be the most important team in the city that weekend.
You already know.
Okay, and it's only one orange and green I know.
Exactly.
All right, and that's that one coming out of Tallahassee, baby. So most of the people in Miami, I like to believe that they're going to see them Rattlers take on Jackson State University. That's going to be the game. That's going to be the thrill, man. Excited for it. But no, seriously, Bethune-Cookman going down to play Miami, that's definitely going to have some draw as well, man. When you're looking at, Florida programs competing against one another, something that you don't typically see, especially a major program like that, bringing in an HBCU, man, that's always exciting. That's exciting for HBCU football and all of HBCU sports. So shout out to them for getting Miami on the schedule and really kicking off the season that way, man. Look forward to that entire weekend.
Definitely. And definitely going to have you back on, Coach K. I'm going to make sure everybody on here, please.
Already, we got to
people in places and places and people.
Hey, we got to set the date. We got to go live in Miami Gardens.
Hey, no doubt. We definitely going to go live, man, So the three things we got a couple of places we got to talk about where we're going to go live. Miami is definitely one of them.
Yes, sir.
Homecoming is definitely one of them.
Yes, sir.
And probably the Florida Classic is definitely one of them.
Yes, sir. You got them.
Sure.
And then the Celebration Bowl, because we'll be there too.
Bowl, yeah. And I'm definitely going to do Bethune and FAMU game at FAMU. I'm going to have to go live for that. Yeah. So
I'm gonna go ahead and pack my bags, man. Let's get ready.
Hey, let's go, man. Big shout out to you, Coach K. Shout out to your family, man. Thank you for coming on today, man.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you, man. Stay up now.
All right, peace.
All right.
Shoot.
Make sure you follow the Priest Now Read on Instagram and Twitter. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Please like, share, and subscribe to make this page grow. I see y'all. I'm out.